Sometime after the birth of the baby, he wanted us to go to Jamaica.
Wow, that's an interesting story.
Because she was supposed to have a better life there, and with all that had gone on with my friends and family, I sort of respected the man's decision, and rather foolishly respected his decision to get married because it was the right thing to do before going to Jamaica. We hadn't much money. I sold most of my belongings. Things had to be arranged for the family I had. They were supposed to be coming with us, and then they changed their minds. It was traumatic, really. But I had to look on the bright side and hope I was doing the best for my little daughter, who was gorgeous. Unfortunately, in Jamaica, it didn't turn out to be quite so good. We were classed as something of a bit of an oddity, and attracted audiences all over the place, especially with the little girl in a pushchair.
Oh my gosh.
Because they don't have those. And children would come and stand all around looking at my little girl. There wasn't much money when we went out there. That rapidly disappeared, and I'd been promised return fare if I didn't want to stay with my little girl. Lots of relatives appeared and wanted gifts, and because you've been in England, they think you're rich. We just weren't. We were up in the sticks. I was living in the bush, which I loved, and I adapted to that way of life. But then the money had gone and he needed to work, so things changed a bit. And when he was going to be living in one of the big towns and having me back up in the bush, where people were getting a bit worried that because people were having accidents, it was probably because there was a white woman there, it got a bit scary. So I ended up rather secretly managing to get back to England with the help of some other people who were on my side. My little girl at this time wanted new shoes. The schooling was not going to be adequate for someone from here. I don't want to sound awful, but it just wasn't.
Standard.
The sort of way of life that those people were used to was so different. As I say, I enjoyed a lot of the normal ways of life. I adapted to it well because I'd been brought up in a cottage that didn't have electricity until we moved when I was 10 years old. So I could adapt to the lack of electricity up there. I carried water. I just joined in with everybody else the way they lived, and gained the respect in a way. But as I say, there was the anxiety when a few accidents happened and thought it was a white woman bringing bad luck.
Oh,
which was an Obeah man who, in other words, is a witch doctor along the lane, and they said they would have to go and see him. One evening, the gentleman, who was now my husband, had let everybody know he was going into the next village to a dance, and of course I had to stay with the family at home. And on that particular night, there were these very strange sounds coming closer and closer to the house. Next morning, his father was, with eyes wide open, was saying it was duppies, which are ghosts, and he thought that the duppies were coming to get him because he was really old, and he thought his number was up. And I said, no, it isn't. It's I think it's the gentleman along the lane, the Obeah man, and it turned out it had been him.